Hello everyone, I am Dr. Praveen Patil. In this video, we'll be discussing about how to create table in HTML using table tag. So the table tag in HTML is used to create a table, and tables we are creating to organize the data into rows and columns. So by creating the table, we are creating the array with number of rows and number of columns. So a table consists of several elements that includes the table tag. It defines the table. So creation of the table, you can start with this tag called the table tag. So this tag in HTML defines the table. So under table, different tags again we have to use. One of the tag that you are using under the table tag is tr tag called table row tag. So this table row tag defines a new row in the table. So every row in the table you can define using the tr tag. The next tag is th tag. So to define the header cell of the table, you can make use of this tag called as table header tag. So the first row of the table is our header row, and every cell of the first row is called as a header cell. So every cell of the first row you can define using this tag called as table header tag. So table header tag defines the header cell, and the text that appears in the header cell is centrally aligned and it appears in the bold by default. The next tag you're going to use under table is td tag called table data tag. So this tag defines the data cell in the table. The second row onwards, all the rows contains the data. So all these rows starting from the second row you can create in the table using this tag called table data. So every data cell you have to create using this tag called as table data. So you can define the table data cell using this tag. So let us see one example, simple example of how to create table. So see, this is a simple example of creating table. So in HTML, the first statement we are writing always is doc type. So with this we are declaring the documentation type. So the second tag that appears in every HTML source code is the opening of the HTML tag. So this is opening HTML tag. You are instructing browser that this is the opening of the HTML source code. Then HTML source code is made up of two sections normally. The first section is head section, and the second section of the HTML source is body section. So whatever you want to present on your web page, that you are including in the body section, and head section is where you are providing the title to your web page, and if you want to provide the metadata called the additional information about your web page, like the owner of the web page or the keywords of the web page, then that you can provide in the head section of your HTML source. So here in the head section, we are providing the head title to our web page as HTML table example. So this title appears in the browser's tag. So this is end of the head section. What is we have included in the head section is the title, and we want title of our web page as HTML table example. Then in the body section, you can begin the body section by this opening body tag. So under body tag, the first statement is h2 header tag we have used to present this data, student information table. So this statement will be displayed on the web page in the h2 header format. After this, we are going to create a table. So we'll use a table tag. So this is the opening table tag. Then this is one of the attribute of the table we are using here. It is the border equal to 1. So this 1 is the value of the border attribute, where the border is one of the attribute of the table. So we are asking the browser to create a table, and we are asking it to draw a border of thickness 1 pixel by using this border attribute of the table. Then under table, we are now creating the first row of the table. So you have to define the every cell of the table. So the first row we are defining here is table row. So we are creating the first row, and the first row, as it is the table header row, we are creating every header cell by th tag. So under tr tag, we are using th tag to create the header cells. So this is the first header cell where we are asking it to put the text name. So first header cell will be the name. Similarly, we can create the second header cell by using th tag. So this is opening th tag and this is closing th tag. The text inserted is age. So this will be put into the second header cell, which will be the second column of the first row. Similarly, in the third column of the first row, this text course appears, and this is also an header cell, so that you have defined by using the th tag. So you can end this first row by closing tr tag. So this is how you can create the first row of your table using the tr tab, and the first row will be the header row with the 3 header cells. The first header cell is name, the second header cell is age, and the third header cell is course. After creating the first row, which is header row of the table, we'll go for creating the second row. So you can start this, you can define this second row of your table by again using the tr tag. So this is opening tr tag to define the second row of the table. This is closing tr tag of the second row, and in the second row will be the data row. So you will be putting the data in the second row, and therefore you can create the data cells of the second row by using td tag. So under tr, now we are using the td tag to define the first data cell in the second row. So the td tag, this is opening td tag, this is closing td tag, and the text inserted between is the name of the first student. So this text appears in the first column of the second row, which will be the first data cell of the second row. The second data cell of the second row is where you are inserting the information about this student's age. So you can create this second data cell in the second row again by using the td tag, and you can insert the age information about the student between this opening td tag and closing td tag. Similarly, the third data cell of the second row, where you have to insert the information about the course chosen by the student. So that you can do again by using the td tag. This is opening td tag and closing td tag, and the text enclosed is the information about the course chosen by the first student. So this is how you can create the second row, which will be the data row in the table. Similarly, you can create the third row, which will be again the data row, where you will be inserting the information, that is data about the second student. So the second row again will contain the three columns. So this is the first column where the name of the student you have to write. This is the second column of the third row, which will be the data row, where you are putting the information about the age of the second student. And this is the third data cell, where you are inserting the course information of the second student. So this will be the third row we have created, which is the data row containing three data cells. In the same way, by using another tr tag, you can define the next row of the table, and using the td tags you can define the next row's table data cells, where the third student's information will appear. So the information that we are writing in the table data row is name of the student, age of the student, and the course chosen by the student. So this is how you can create the third row, or the third row where you are putting the information of the third students. So this is the third data row. So after creating this, you can end the table by closing table tag. This will be then closing body tag, and the last statement of your HTML source will be closing HTML tag. So this is how you can create a simple table. So to create a table, you have to define a table. That you can do by the table tag. One of the attribute you can use of the table is the border attribute, to ask browser to draw a border about the table, so of thickness equal to 1 pixel. So this is the border, one of the attribute of the table, and the value assigned to this attribute equal to 1 represents the thickness of the border is equal to 1 pixel. Then we have used in this example the tr tag to define each and every new row. Then the next tag we have used in the code is the th tag that defines the header cell, and then we have used the td tag to define the data cells. Now we'll understand one of the CSS property that we are applying to the table. So the property is border dash collapse collapse. This is one of the CSS property. CSS stands for cascading style sheet, and the different properties of CSS we can apply to our HTML source. So here we are going to apply this CSS property to a table, which is used to merge the adjacent borders into a single border instead of keeping them separate. So the border attribute of the table, when we are using, by that we are defining border for every table cell, and there will be separate border appears for each cell. If you want to merge these borders of the adjacent cells into a single border, then you can make use of this CSS property called border collapse collapse. So if it is required to merge the adjacent borders of the cells into a single border, then you can use this CSS property. Let us see in the example how to use this CSS property to merge the adjacent borders into a single border. So like the similar example, previous example, you can use this first statement for declaration of documentation type. Then this is as usual opening of the HTML document. Then this is the head part of our source, where we are providing title to our web page as border collapse example. Then under head section only, you have to use this style. You have to define the style for your table and different uh, cells of the table. So this is opening of the style. We are defining this style in the head section of our HTML source. So this is opening of the style. Then this is the different CSS properties we want to apply to our table. So you have to write table, and in the curly bracket you can write the CSS properties that you want to apply to your table. So one of the CSS property is width property, and we are asking it to set width 50%. So this, it sets the width 50% of the page width. The second CSS property we want to apply to our table is for merging the adjacent borders is border collapse. So the syntax for using this CSS property is border dash collapse colon collapse. So this is the second CSS property we want to apply to our table. So therefore it is included in the curly bracket. So this is close of the curly bracket. Then the next is th comma td. Th is table header, td is table data. So to header cell and data cell, we want to apply following properties so that you can include in the curly bracket. So one of the CSS property that we want to apply to table header and table data cells is border. So border colon 1px solid black. So this px means pixel. So this property tells the browser to use a border with every header and data cell of the table of thickness equal to 1 pixel, and the color of the border line will be solid black. So this is the CSS properties to set the color of the border or the border style and the thickness of the border. So this property you are going to apply for each table header cell and table data cell. The second property, CSS property, that we want to apply for our header cells and data cells of the table is the padding. So padding is used to specify the internal space of the cell. It is the spacing between the text that appears in the cell and the border. So with padding you can define this internal space of the cell. So here we are asking it to set the value of the padding equal to 10 pixel. So 10 pixel will be the space between the text of the cell and border of the cell from all the sides of the border. So the top border, bottom border, left border and right border, the spacing of the cell text and the border will be equal to 10 pixel. The another property you can use is text align property. So you can set it left, right or center align. So how that text in the cell should appear, that alignment you can set using this CSS property. So we want our text should be left aligned in the cell. So we can specify this using this property text dash align colon left. So these are the three properties we want to apply to table header and table data cells. So this is the end of the style. After this you can end the head part of our HTML source, and in the next part will be body part. So under body we have used the h2 header tag to display this text in h2 header format on the web page. So the first statement that appears on web page will be border collapse example in h2 header format. Then we are creating a table. So to create a table, you have to use, you can start this by using the table tag. So with the table tab, we are defining the table. So under table, there are different elements we are using. The first element is to create the row. So creation of row, you can start with the tr tag. So you can create the first row of your table by opening the tr tag, and under this the th tag is used to define the table header. So this is the first table header cell, and the text that appears in this cell is name. The second header cell you can define by using again th tag, and the text that you want to insert in the second header cell is age. So this is how two columns of the first row you can define, and this first row will be the header row containing two header cells. The first is name cell and second is age cell. You can end the creation of first row by closing tr tag. Next, to create the next row of the table, again you have to use this opening tr tag. You can close this tag by closing tr tag, and you can define this second row, which will be data row. So to define the second row, every element of the second row, that is every cell of the second row, so second row will contain the two data cells. The first data cell is where you have to insert the student's name, and the second data cell is where you have to put the information age of the student. So this is how you can do it using the td tag under the second row. So td tag is used to define the table data cell. So this will be the first data cell you can define of the second row, and to define the second data cell of the second row, you can use again td tag, and you can insert the age information of the student in the second column of the second row, which will be one of the data cell of the second row. After creating the second row, you can go for the third row creation, and again you can use this tr pair tag, under which you can insert the information about the second student. And so what information we are writing in the table is name of the student and age of the student. So this is how the third row of the table, which will be the data row, you can create. And then after creating this, you can end the table. Then this is end of the body tag, and then this is end of the HTML tag. So this is how you can create a table. And with border collapse, the border of the adjacent cells, you can see they are merging into a single border, so that it makes the table looks cleaner. And if you are not using this property border collapse, which is one of the CSS property, then each cell of the table you can see it is having a separate border. So this is how the tables can be created in the HTML, and different styles of presentation you can apply to the table, and different CSS properties also you can apply to the table. Okay, thank you.